So welcome to the Rise of Virtual Cheese Awards 2025. My name is Vicky and I'll be moderating this session, which is C2 Blue Cheese Soft. And we're very excited to welcome two brilliant judges today to be judging all of these cheeses with us. So Sarah Minnis from Waitrose and Simon Ferro from Courtyard Dairy. Sarah, do you want to just introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, of course. So my name is Sarah Minnis. I am the specialist cheese buyer for Waitrose. I've been at Waitrose now for 10 years, 4 years buying cheese. And this is my third Virtual Cheese Award. So I'm very, very excited to be judging such an exciting category as soft blue and with Simon as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And Simon?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm Simon. I'm the shop manager and head cheesemonger at the Courtyard Dairy up in Settle. Been working in cheese since about 2015, so about 10 years now as a cheesemonger. This is my second Virtual Cheese Award, so really excited to have the invite back. So that's really great. And yeah, moving on to the blue cheeses now. So yeah, looking forward to it.
It's like an escalation as you go through. But yes, thank you so much. And all the judges will be judging on 4 key attributes today. So we look at appearance, aroma, texture, and taste, and we upweight the score for taste. So that's going to become the most important element. So without further ado, we'll go straight into the first cheese, which is 1002. And we'll have a look at appearance.
Oil wrapping going on.
There's a lot going on with this cheese. I can already see.
Similar rind, just looking at it now, like, you know, that kind of gorgonzola-y, that kind of pinky rind going on.
Yeah, yeah. With lots of interesting colours and stuff. The cheese is, mine's been damaged a bit, I think, in transport. It's a bit, you see that?
I've got a bit of like drying there, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's transportation. I don't think it's
transportation. I don't think you can worry about it. That side though looks pretty good on mine.
Yeah. Yes.
Quite a nice even amount of blue.
Yeah.
Pierce marks as well through there.
Sticky rind actually on top. Is your rind sticky on top?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it looks nice.
You know,
I think appearance-wise, I think it looks good actually.
Yeah, you wouldn't be too unhappy if you had that on the board, like looking like that.
No, no, no. Should we go 8?
Yeah, go 8.
And then aroma.
You do 8 or 9? What's your 9?
8. 8. Yeah.
I'm going to cut mine and smell the inside because.
Yeah. You just get the mustiness and the. Might have to cut into mine a bit more.
Even as the appearance wise of the cross section like that, because I've done mine the other way. So
yeah,
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks really good. Oh, actually, when you cut into it, you get like those toasty smells.
Yeah, that biscuity note that you kind of.
Yeah. Yes.
You've got that kind of almost like that kind of nice dairy note coming through as well, which sometimes blue, that aroma of blue, can really overpower.
Yes.
And also, we've got to remember these are soft blues as well. So has it got a softness to it? It's got that nice squidge to it, you know.
Yeah, it's got a really nice squidginess and quite an open texture. It's got like the holes coming through as well, I think, which gives it a nice.
The way I've cut it as well, it's almost got the lines from the knife left in it, so it's got that really like butter-like texture.
Yeah.
We're even trying it.
Yeah. So aroma. I think it smells really interesting. I'd probably give it an 8.
Yeah, should we go high again? Yeah, go 8. I'm up for it. Yeah.
Right, let me try and cut them. And texture, like you say, is it is really bouncy, isn't it? It's really soft and bouncy.
As well.
Oh, it's really buttery.
I quite like that texture in the cheese. And actually, a texture like that in a blue make, the way it is, when with piercing, they could all seal up, so you could actually get quite an uneven amount of blue if the texture is going to be like that.
Yeah, it's almost
itself up.
Yeah, it's the texture of it's almost like a alpine-y texture, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But really nice and buttery. Then you get that spiciness coming through at the end.
Have you had some with the rind?
No, let me try that.
It's just an accentuation. You get those nice earthy notes coming through from it.
Yeah, and a bit of mushroomy notes as well, don't you? And then that nut, you get a nuttiness as well, like a
definitely
hazelnut or something.
I love the texture. I think that texture is really fun.
That texture is really good, and the flavors actually are really balanced as well.
The strongest blue cheese, but as I say to a lot of people, blue cheese doesn't have to be a strong cheese. So I think it's got a good balance. A lot of those you've got flavors from the cheese and from the blue and from the rind, and they're all kind of quite harmonious. So I think it's a nice cheese, very good cheese.
What would you score there for texture and for taste?
I think the texture is great, so I'm going to throw a 9 out there.
9, I think 9 for texture. It's really good. Taste
maybe 8, 8.5.
8, yeah, 8.5.
Maybe a bit more, but the flavors that are there are spot on.
Yeah, the flavors are really balanced. I know what you mean. Maybe it does need a bit.
Yeah.
Go on for a bit longer.
Yeah.
You want it to go on for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Like a clean and short finish.
Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah. But yeah, beautiful.
Lovely. That's a good start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the next one is 1014.
Okay.
Again, wrapped in wax. I think this might be slightly the wrong medium to wrap a cheese like this in.
It was sticking quite a lot, wasn't it? It's like it's absorbed.
I think that's not transport. That is choice of wrap.
Yeah. It's absorbed a lot of water and it's gone a bit soggy, I'd say.
But in terms of appearance, you've got a nice looking rind.
Yes. Yeah, the rind looks really good.
You've got a bit of kind of almost, can you see there, like where it's not pierced, but there's a bit of creep coming in there, so like a bit of a browning there. You've
Like
got
ingress,
yeah. You might see me doing that, but you've got a bit there as well.
Yeah, a bit of ingress.
Maybe slightly uneven bluing. You've got a lot of blue here on my piece, and not so much here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point of piercing a blue cheese is to get that even bluing throughout. It's not kind of being let to do it naturally.
Yes. Yeah, it's maybe a bit uneven. Maybe then appearance we do like 7, 7.5.
I think 7.
Ooh. Right, I might have to. It's got quite a winey note to it, hasn't it? Maybe it's me.
It's got that basically it's that blue cheese smell, isn't it? As blue is kind of developing, it's got really kind of not like a sourness to it, but if you think of like Italian style blues, like pecorinos or things like that.
Yeah. Actually, when you cut into it, you get quite a classic Stilton smell.
It's got a good intensity in terms of its aroma.
Yeah. Yeah, I might just cut that again. Again, it's quite soft in texture, isn't it?
Which we hope.
Yeah. Aroma, I mean, it has got a lot going on in the aroma.
It's almost like, that pear droppy note you get from blue cheese.
Yeah.
I don't want to go as kind of high up as like acetone, that kind of aroma, but definitely pear droppy.
Yeah, it's definitely pear droppy.
Quite dominant. Not saying it's bad. Again, I think 7 maybe. Kind of
yeah, I think 7. Yeah. Texture's nice.
Yeah, so again, it's got that nice kind of squidge to it. You can see that it's got that kind of, it's giving.
Flavour's strong. You might taste a bit without the blue as well.
Quite high in salt again. Got that saltiness to it.
Yeah, I think it's high in
Some
salt.
people do tend to be high salt. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but what you're getting from that rind in terms of texture is a little bit of crunch from that
Yeah.
rind. You've got it in the mouth, which is quite nice. It breaks up
Yeah.
that creaminess.
The salt does keep coming though at the end, maybe a bit too much.
I think that's good.
Yeah, it's you get that Stiltony taste to it with the blue, but that pear drop is definitely coming through more when you eat it now, isn't it?
Yeah. And that with the salt, you're getting, they're two quite intense flavours.
Yeah.
There's nothing cutting through that. Apart from the creaminess of its actual texture.
Yeah. It's quite but slightly not balanced because of that.
Yeah.
It's quite, makes it maybe a bit too harsh, maybe needs to soften around the edges a bit.
Yeah. What are we thinking for texture? I go quite high on texture, maybe.
Yeah, there's parts that are a bit dry. I think that's just where it's travelled.
Yeah. Then
But generally, it's quite buttery and soft.
Yeah, once you get past that cut edge, in the actual interior is nice. Like it's got that
Soft, yeah. Yeah.
7.5, 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah.
8, I think, on texture. But
It
then
does
the
come down with
taste,
flavour.
yeah, the flavour probably needs to come down maybe to 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 6, 6.5, 7. So
yeah, it just feels like it's too much, isn't it? There still needs to be a bit of a balance across it. But it's got great potential.
So you're going to go 7 for flavour or 6.5?
Let's give it 7.
We'll go 7. Yeah, let's go 7.
Yeah, because all the elements are there. I think they just need to mix together a bit, or blend together a bit more, don't they?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And next cheese is 1027.
So little individual cheese.
Yeah, this is cute. I like it. I think the colours are amazing. It's like a little rock almost, like a special rock, because you've got all those yellows and the browns and the...
The first thing I've got, and I know it's just because it's been in that packet, you get that kind of wash rind aroma coming from it.
Yes.
So moisture.
Yeah.
I don't think
you get whoosh, don't you? Definitely a whoosh. And really,
that is kind of like boozy, syrupy, that kind of.
oh, what does it remind me of? Bacon. It's like bake on the...
Yeah, like bacon fat, like rendering chicken.
Yeah, really sort of animalic.
Mm.
Really unusual.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So I think the look of it, I mean, again, it's fairly even in its distribution, but I just love all the mottling of the colours. Just makes it really inviting.
Well, I've got a little bit of damage on my edge, and I have a funny feeling this is going to be an orange cheese inside.
Orange cheese. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like coloured cheese.
Oh. What do you think then for appearance? 8, 8.5?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. They're they're perfectly round.
Yeah, let's go 8.5 because it doesn't.
8.5. I like all the little dots of mould you get on there as well.
Yeah, really interesting. I think the aromas as well, they're really unusual coming off the rind.
Even the aroma just from that rind is just kind of like, so it's got really intense aroma.
Yeah, I might just cut inside to smell it inside.
I think the rind will be the dominant aroma.
Look at that. Yeah, I think you're right. So all those really earthy notes come through inside, but I think it could, yeah, you're right, it's probably dominating from the rind itself. It's like
It's like biscuity nut I find coming from it. What are you getting?
yeah, it's not a smokiness. It's like yes, maybe it's just really earthy.
So we're still on aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can
Do you
do.
think we should give it?
Complex. It's got
Yeah.
to be up there, at least an 8.
Yeah. Why don't we do 8.5?
You're 8.5, yeah, happy with that.
Yeah. Because there's just a lot going on, isn't there?
Maybe on the verge of too much, but actually I think that's quite interesting, you know, I think that's really kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Texture next.
Texture.
Yeah, texture.
I'm beginning to get a little bit of breakdown at that was the top. You've got that kind of, I don't know if you can see, a little bit of that
Yeah.
hidden blue in there, and then under
Yeah.
on this part, you've got that little bit of breakdown from that rind. So
Yeah.
almost quite dual textured by the looks of it. But I'm going to pop a bit in.
It's really unusual, isn't it? I'm just trying. Ooh. That's quite strong. That
Flavour.
tastes like it smells, which is
Yeah.
really clever, I think. Really earthy.
That blue's there, you know, it's definitely got that blue kick. I think texture-wise, actually, it's quite lovely in the mouth.
It's so soft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think texture probably 8.
Like it's actually
8.5.
quite melt in the mouth, and then it's just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? 8.5?
Maybe 8.
8.
For flavour or texture?
Texture.
8, yeah.
Um, it's a really, I think it's quite, I don't think I've tasted anything like this before. It's quite an unusual cheese inside.
I think the flavour is good. I do think, like we said for a previous one, where it could be a bit more, this could maybe be a little bit less.
Yes.
So tone it down a bit, and then you get more flavour from the actual cheese, the milk,
Yeah.
rather than just that blue and that rind. Because that's what I'm kind of getting, is just that dominant flavour.
Yeah. There's a lot going on and all at a very high level, isn't there?
Did it need to be coloured as well? Don't know. You know, why have they coloured that?
I mean, they've thrown everything at it. Mm. I mean, you get those caramels, but then the earthiness. It's just really punchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. If we tone everything down slightly bit, you'll be able to taste all of those elements.
And then the balance would come, that
Yeah.
harmonious.
Yeah.
A little bit fragmented, but
Yeah.
good. You know, it's very high, you know, on all parts, like in terms of its intensity.
Yeah. And actually, yeah, I think so. Because when we were saying earlier about you know, when you taste a great cheese, you want to keep going back for it to eat. There's probably a limit to how much of this you could at the moment.
Well, I've stopped because I've got another 17 blues to go. So
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah, cool. Okay.
What would you give for taste?
7, 7 and a
7.
half. 7, 7.
Yeah.
Perfect. So next one is 1048.
Right, let me do this.
So looks like a triangle. Could be heart shaped.
Yeah, definitely looks like a triangle. Ooh,
The piece of cheese, a wedge.
a wedge of cheese.
That's from a cut cheese, not an individual cheese. Kind of funny thing, that might be a little individual one.
Oh, you've got more blue going on in yours.
So I've got a few pierce lines there. Nothing on that side, really. But actually, you can see on the top, there are all the pierce holes
Yeah,
with no blue in. So maybe
yeah.
the blue in some parts has failed to develop.
Let me just cut in a bit and see.
Yeah, I'm going to cut through one of those holes and have a little look.
Mm,
There is a bit
I
there,
haven't
but
got much going on. But it might be, it's the combination of both. So I think probably from appearance, you'd probably expect it to have more blue in it,
yeah,
and the rind is
maybe it's
possibly a
slightly,
bit soggy.
yeah, I think it's got a damp rind.
Yeah,
So those blue molds,
yeah,
that kind of grey mold that's grown on it has been almost got wet, died back.
yes,
So that also
yeah,
might impact the flavour. Might get some more bitterness off of that, maybe.
yeah. So I think probably appearance, we might have to give it like a 6,
6, yeah.
but appreciate it might just be transportation damage maybe, but yeah.
Uneven bluing anyway. If you look into that and think of that as appearance, then I think yeah, probably
Yeah.
I should be a bit more even.
Yes.
But again, it's hard with the soft glue because those fissures are just closing straight back up again as soon as you pierced it. So you've got to pierce
Yeah.
it multiple times to life.
Keep it going, yeah. In terms of aroma, let me try and smell this. I do get a bit of ammonia.
And
it
that's
is,
predominant.
yeah, yeah. So probably again, it probably have to be 6 again on there.
Yeah, I don't want to be much harsher than a 6, but
It's just, yeah, it's
okay.
just that ammonia smell. Okay, let's try a bit. Leave that up there a minute.
The texture, I know that we've done appearance and aroma.
Mine's quite wet, but it is breaking down. Is yours?
And you've got that bit of kind of, that bit of
Yeah.
gooiness going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, fiddling with the cheeses again.
Mm. Mm.
Then you've got chalky parts as well.
Yeah. Have you tasted it yet?
No, I tasted it, yeah.
It's gone quite, yeah, and gone quite chemically, like a chemical taste, because I think everything's maybe not going on as right as it probably possibly should be. You do get that tang, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think probably the taste is probably about a 6 as well.
6 across the board for this.
Yeah.
And texture as well.
Yeah. I think maybe it's just had a bit of a bad travel experience, maybe.
Quite a thin cheese as well, so if it was a bit of a fatter cheese, I know they want that breakdown to come quicker, but if it was a bit of a kind of a taller cheese, you might just do that process of that aging down and maybe think about what they're happening, because it was in that had that plastic on the edge, didn't it? So they cut it and wrapped it in that plastic with the wax underneath, that 2-ply.
Yeah.
And it will sweat under that.
Yeah. But the texture, as you say, and the breakdown is lovely. So yeah, it's got potential, definitely. Is that all the marks? Yeah.
Yeah. So next one is 1051.
Cheeses are just a bit messy, aren't they? Going to the sink to do my washing.
I've got a pack of them like wax next to me just to.
Yeah, that's good.
I knew this might be the case today.
Okay, so this is 1051. Yeah, you said to me.
Yeah.
Oh, so interesting. So actually, although the rind looks interesting in this, it is starting to leave the body of the cheese I've got slightly. So, but again, it could be transport, so it's really...
I have a funny feeling you feel the quality of this foil, it would be retailed in this foil anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got a bit of dryness coming through, so it's a bit of an uneven texture and a bit of tiny bit of ingress along the top. It's just,
You've got a
yeah.
different piece to me because I've got quite a not a bad looking piece.
Oh yeah, your piece is, yeah, mine's a bit more uneven. Let me try and cut into it and see.
And then there's quite a lot of even bluing on that side, a little bit of browning there. Getting a lot of sweetness straight off the nose, like almost like, you know, like sweets. You know, like confected, you know, like jelly sweets.
Yeah. I think your piece might be slightly survived better than mine.
Better condition, maybe.
Yeah. Right. We'll go with yours for appearance then, because mine looks a bit. Yeah, mine looks completely different.
Yeah, yours was damaged on that back end.
Yeah.
Dried
Yeah.
out around the edge. Maybe it's from a different cheese. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, do you know,
But does that show inconsistency within their cheeses?
potentially, yes.
Show that up as well, because we have got two separate parts.
It's quite dusty as well. I wonder if it's
But on the rind,
yeah,
you've got kind of almost like that powder if you'd like rub it.
yeah. It could be even like mite damage or something, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it's mite, but just different mold in it. You've got that real kind of crossing on the bottom.
Yeah, my piece is completely
So that's potentially
completely
not
different.
been turned enough. So you see your piece,
Yeah,
put your piece that way, Sarah.
that way.
So yours, all the blue has come maybe down,
Yeah,
and yours is the top. So it's not been
yeah.
flipped enough throughout its life.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So I might be completely wrong, but
Because then it's dried off in the corner as well,
yeah,
where it's been pierced. Yeah.
so it's been pierced all the way down to the middle as well, like all the way through.
That might, that might just-
What
Cool.
score for appearance then? Are you going to do Simon's one?
Well, we have to be fair to the cheese as a well, we've got to do the piece we can analyze, but maybe 6.5, 7 because of
Yeah,
what's
let's go 7 and give them the benefit of the
yeah, let's
doubt.
do that.
Yeah, yours looks good. And then in terms of aroma, I just get a very musty aroma.
You
Earthy.
get really musty and ammonia on the rind. If you
Yeah.
just feel the taste,
Yeah.
it is that sweetness coming from it. But it is a bit maybe confected, a bit more kind of chemically fake. I can't pinpoint the exact aroma I'm getting off of it.
Yeah, and it becomes quite
I can see where they're
animalic.
going with it. They're trying to be a gorgonzola-y style. You think of that style of cheese with that kind of rind.
Yeah.
Just maybe not as accomplished as some of the others. The first one we tried.
Yeah, potentially. I can smell quite farmy, that animalic smell as well coming through, which I don't mind. I think that always feels like you're going to get lots of interesting taste. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the fragrance of it. Mine's quite crumbly as well. It feels quite soft, but it's also crumbling.
It's not cut particularly well, you know, it's fallen apart as I've cut it, even though it's meant to be a soft blue.
Yeah, I've also got, can you see the brown going into the...
You've got brown in as well.
Yeah.
I see I've got less of that. Oh, this is a hard one.
It's hard because of the inconsistency, isn't it? I'll taste it and then see. Mm. Quite sweet. You get that sort of, I do on mine, like a...
The aroma that I was getting is just accentuated on that palate.
Yeah.
Okay, isn't unpleasant.
No. But I mean, the level of sweetness is nice. I don't mind it. And it's texturally to eat. It's really soft and buttery.
Yeah. I'm just thinking texturally in terms of appearance, the way it's cut and falling apart. And if you add that on the cheese borders, again, as a consumer or at a cheese shop and you're trying to cut that for customers,
Mm.
I think it might let itself down a little bit there.
Yeah. So shall we give it 7 for texture?
7 for texture. Yeah, let's do that.
Got
Do
quite
that.
a lot of salt coming through. Did you get the crystals coming through?
Yeah, you get that crunchy part to the blue, where the blue veining is.
Yeah.
You give a score for aroma? I don't think you'd agreed aroma.
I think probably 6.5.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.5. So let's go 6.5 to be generous.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not too much going on there.
I like.
And then overall,
I don't that ammonia on that rind. Again, it's in
too
my,
much.
you know, in your nose. It's a bit kind of fragmented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taste?
Potentially, it's one of its better parts, but
I mean, the sweetness is not, it's just not balanced. There's not enough, you can feel the salt when you eat it, but then you can't, there's no salt, high salt levels coming through. It's really sweet.
Yeah. What did we say? What did you say? Did you say 6, Sarah?
I think, yeah, probably 6.5, maybe.
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah, I was going to say 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's maybe just trying to get consistency between the bits, but we don't know what's happened to whether mine's just been bashed about a bit or. Yeah. Though Sarah carefully packed them, to be fair.
The cheese, that would suggest that's to the middle, so the cheese is going to be that big.
Yeah.
It's going to be double the height of that. So if you've got the top and I've got the bottom, so it's almost literally a gorgonzola shape. And if it's sagged in the middle, if it's not been flipped enough, if it's transported as the whole cheese wrong, you're going to have to look at that as potentially.
Yes. Yeah. Right, let me move this off. Is that all the points, Vicky? Oh, Vicky, frozen.
Yeah, I think she might have done. You there, Vicky?
Might wait for her to log on and come back.
She's gone now.
Oh, she's gone.
I am now the host.
It looks like the meeting's still being recorded there.
Yeah.
So we won't swear.
No.
This next one looks interesting. Oh, that looks nice.
I've just watched that Sarah saying we've lost Vicky.
Okay.
Just to see.
That's a good plan. I never even thought of that. I was just going to say.
We're going to set up a WhatsApp group. I know we're still going to record it, but they can cut this bit out. So we're going to set up a WhatsApp group if anything was going wrong on the day.
Oh, okay.
I'm invited to that, but I've just messaged her directly.
Oh, cool. I don't know if you might have done that. I haven't looked at my phone this morning. Now, when you think if I start looking at my phone, I'll be looking at all my messages, and that's never a good idea.
Our worker trying to get in touch with me.
It's a shame about those last 2 cheeses. I think they've just either had a bit of transport damage or haven't quite worked out.
It's probably quite a really hard cheese to make.
Yeah.
We sell Coat Hill Blue in the shop, and when they started up, they were saying that, you know, they had this recipe they wanted to follow and they got it right first time.
Yeah.
With soft blue, that's literally impossible.
Yeah, that's really hard.
This style of cheese to make. So
yeah.
If any of this does get recorded, these guys have all done a stellar job, but fine. So you can add it, you know.
Well, I suppose that's the joy of cheese as well. It's different every time, isn't it? It's that. Might be tidy up. Yeah. Use this out.
There, are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Do you think I should pause the recording? Because I can do that now because technically it said I'm the host.
Oh, yeah,
I could just pause it.
yeah.
So we're now on to cheese 1058.
So this looks a lovely cheese.
Again, it's a big cheese. It's a big piece of cheese, you know.
Big piece of cheese. I don't think mine's going to stand up very well.
Now the boxes are up here.
Lots of stuff going on in it. It just looks lovely. The rind looks nice. The blue is even.
The blue is very even. The rind is not too thick either.
No,
Right, back and about it.
almost like that sort of gorgonzola style again, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I've got a huge amount of breakdown on mine, which looks lovely.
Yeah, and really yellow. The nice colour coming through.
Really yellow.
So yeah, appearance, and I mean, to be honest, I quite like the look of it.
Yeah, I think it looks
So-
lovely. Cheese. I think even as a whole cheese, if you can imagine a whole cheese, it would look great.
Yeah.
And
So I
that's
reckon about a 9.
Yeah,
Do you think a 9?
yeah, I'd go high.
Yeah, let's go 9. Roma, we kind of smell it.
There, you know, you've got all the little dots of blue going. There's a bit more towards the edge, but it's nice and broken down throughout. The blue's done its job.
Yeah, it's really even. Oh, you get that real, when you smell the paste, you get that real sort of gorgonzola type smell coming through, actually.
Yeah, it's that kind of almost like that one before, like that Italian, like
Wine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. And really even.
It's not too dominant. So sometimes
No.
that can be the dominant aroma.
Yeah, because you get the lactic notes coming through as well in the background, don't you? Which is nice. So yeah, aroma is probably a 9 again, actually. I think it's promising quite a lot. Or do you want to go slightly lower?
Maybe 8.5.
8.5?
Again,
Yeah.
there could be something else there.
Yeah. It's lovely to cut into. It is like butter. Right. It'll be messy though. With the rind on.
Oh, so we have top and bottom. So this is the size of the cheese.
Mm.
The texture's great.
That's superb. It's creamy.
Yeah.
It just melts in your mouth, doesn't it? Mm. It just melts away. And the breakdown's really good. I think that's got to be a 9 for texture. Look at that.
At least it's high on texture.
Mm. Taste, you've got that, there is a sweetness coming through.
There is a sweetness. I've just had a bit near the rind where there was a lot of breakdown and a lot of blue, and there was a lot of kind of bitterness there. And I'm really receptive to bitterness. So if I'm detecting it quite high, it's got that right at the end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that because I've eaten some of the rind? I don't
Yeah.
know. Where there's more blue dominant. But in the centre, it's amazing.
Yeah, the scent's amazing. I agree, actually. I did try a bit with the rind, and on the very end note, you do get that just slight bitterness come through, don't you?
Still getting that kind of astringency going on.
Mm. The middle of those is amazing.
Yeah.
So where do you want to score it? It's really nice.
And what have we got to score? We've got texture to score. Did we put 9 for texture?
9, 8.5 and 9 so far.
So what's the other one? Aroma.
So you got 9 for aroma, 9 for appearance, 8.5 for aroma, and 9 for texture at the moment.
I've probably got 8 for taste in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that slight bits at the back end.
Yeah, it's just that bitterness that comes through the rind, maybe. I mean, the rest of it is still.
Blue is a bitter start, like blue is a bitter flavour, but
Yeah, maybe 8.5.
let's go 8.5.
Yeah, let's go.
In the centre and right there, it's lovely.
It's superb, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
8.5, perfect. Cheese is 1059.
Okay.
So this is definitely an individual cheese.
Looks a lot going on here. I can see through the back. Oh. Oh. I've almost got a tale of two halves. Look, that side and then.
Yeah, same.
Oh wow.
Which I quite like actually. It's so it's really lovely to look at.
I think that's the wrapping, and I also think it's been squidged in transport because I've got where it's been pressed on this side down. I've got
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like there, it's all like broken off.
Yeah.
They've probably been transported
then,
that way up and
Yeah.
sweated in that packaging to give it that appearance.
Yes.
What the appearance should be like all over.
Okay.
Okay, so you can't maybe judge it without them.
Yeah. Nice cheese.
Yeah.
Quite an even amount of mould on it.
Yeah. It looks really unusual, doesn't it? Yeah, mine is bursting out a bit.
Yeah, I think they've just been not sat on it.
So appearance though, I mean, it does look quite funky with the two different colours, even on that side.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe 8 again?
With blues, greens, whites, greys coming from it.
Yeah,
Yeah, give it an 8.
8. And then
I think it's going to be hard with the aroma of this one because you're just going to get that slight bit
yeah,
of ammonia, that bit of that kind of earthiness from the white going on. Just going to bang it off.
let me just, I'll cut into it as well and see what it smells like inside. Oh wow, look at that. It does look nice inside.
Yeah, fully broken down.
Yeah,
There's no slippy rind really either.
no,
Apart from that, maybe that squidge in transit. I don't think that's a problem.
but it smells quite lactic and quite blue inside, doesn't it though? It smells quite, you've got some mushroomy notes coming through as well.
Got that kind of real kind of rich kind of almost like clotted cream, that kind of
Yeah,
rich dairy note rather than just like the smell of fresh milk or parlour.
no, it's richer than that, isn't it?
Also, the blue is good in terms of its actual appearance. It's been pierced that way.
Yeah.
It's left pretty much a whole complete line. Or maybe it's been pierced both sides and not in the middle, but yeah, I think piercing.
Yeah. Mine's really good as well.
You can see that one there, that kind of shock of blue coming from it.
Yeah.
I think it's really quite nice looking.
Yeah, I think it's nice looking. Aroma then, what do we think? 7.5, 8?
Maybe 7.5. I think it could be there could be more aromas coming from it.
Yeah.
We've not got any of that real, like some of the stronger ones we've tried, that really kind of intense blue.
Yeah.
Not really any of that. So
You could have more blue, yeah.
well, actually, it's meant to be a more gentle style. It's that kind of
Yeah.
which you're never going to get a huge amount of blue through that. And the blue they've got is excellent. So yeah, mate,
Yeah.
7.5, 8, yeah.
Yeah, let's give it an 8 because I
Yeah,
think
mate.
it is the style as well, yeah. Right, so texture. The breakdown looks good actually on there.
Breakdown is excellent. And it's fully broken down as well.
Yeah,
Within the centre.
nice and evenly.
Because you could have run the risk of having that kind of chalky centre, bit of breakdown. Or no breakdown at all. They could have sent a kind of rock solid version of this in.
Mm.
You can see there. Looks good.
Ridgy.
Tastes really good as well. It's got a high salt level, but actually I don't mind it. I think it's quite balanced.
The salt
Maybe tails off at the end a bit.
becoming the sweetness, like I'm getting left in my mouth. The salt is going, the sweetness
Yeah.
is staying.
Yeah, but then do you get a bit of salt back at the end?
A little bit, maybe like a lingering.
But it's not too much though, is it?
No. Texture's great though.
It's really I like this. I think it's a lovely cheese.
Rind could be slightly thinner, maybe. You know, you are getting a lot of rind, but then it is a small format cheese.
Mm.
I don't know if these guys do a bigger style of this cheese.
But the rind, the taste of the rind isn't impacting too much on the paste though, actually.
No,
All of it's
actually
working
adding to it.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I'd be tempted to say 8 for texture, 9 for taste.
Yeah, I think 9 for taste. It's really good.
Yeah, so you agree 8 for texture, 9 for taste.
Yeah. And again, it's another unusual one, isn't it? Like customers wouldn't expect to see that on the cheese board and with so much going on, but it's just such a nice cheese that you can keep going back to.
It's almost like that kind of Cambozola style.
Yeah.
Best blue brilliant. That'd get stocked on a cheese board.
Yeah.
That'd be one of the first cheeses to go.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's lovely. Cool.
Right. Great cheese.
Mm.
Excellent whoever made that.
And the next one is 1084.
Love a little wedge shaped cheese.
Yeah. Red tape. I just wipe my board and mix up.
Very good wrapping. Whoever's wrapped this.
It's skillful to wrap.
Yeah, that is expertly parcelled up. They need to come and do my Christmas present. Oh God.
They've also used thick bites and 2 pieces. So they've definitely considered how to transport their cheese.
Yeah. So again, mine's really, the rind is quite Gorgonzola-esque again.
I think this is, rather than Gorgonzola-esque, you know, like a foil wrap cheese that doesn't even allow to grow a rind.
Yeah.
You're still getting that curd formation there as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. Yeah. It looks lovely though, doesn't it?
You're having those holes there allow the blue to just kind of naturally creep in. So
And yeah.
pierce that way
Yeah.
and just allow it to go in from that way.
Yeah.
You look like you've got maybe a bit more blue than I have, but
It's
not.
lovely looking though. I think that's probably quite a high mark for appearance.
Yeah.
What, 9 for appearance?
So the rind doesn't even, it's not too like gnarly, or it's, you know, it's like a nice piece of cheese.
Yeah. Should we go 9 for appearance then?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Right, let's see what the aromas are. That biscuity smell you get again on that. I might have to cut into it.
Especially more on that kind of the dry edge, the rind edge.
Yeah. Let me just cut in and see what's okay. Yeah, even inside still, you just still get that sort of digestive smell. With some of the blue coming through and a bit of that mustiness. I think overwhelmingly there, I keep smelling biscuit.
Yeah, well that's the kind of that dominant aroma.
Yeah.
Not unpleasant though.
No, it smells nice.
You know, you just crack into like a pack of digestive biscuits.
Yeah.
That's that aroma.
Yeah, it is that aroma. Totally. So I'd probably give it maybe an 8.5 for aroma.
It's okay. Because again, actually, there could be more.
There could be more, yeah.
It's not the most intense aroma.
No.
Is that 8 or 8.5?
8, please, Vicky.
8.
But the textures seems nice actually.
But it's an even texture, even by looking at it. You know, it's well pressed.
Yeah. It's really buttery again.
I do like the texture of this style of blue cheese, like this one, number 1, number 4, or whatever it was. This style
Yeah.
is texture.
Yeah.
It still feels like cheese, even though it's like a soft cheese. It's not too oozy, you know, it's not runny, but it's got that buttery texture, that kind of real nice mouth coating texture.
Yeah, the texture's good. Probably it's probably a 9 for texture again, isn't it? I don't know what I would have.
Yeah, what would make it better?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. You don't want it any more
It
crumbly.
could be worse. So yeah, should we go 9?
Yeah, I think 9. Taste. You get the blueness and the saltiness coming
Yeah.
through that you'd expect. I
I
don't know if
get much of the biscuit in this. So obviously with the aroma being, we've just both mentioned a lot of biscuit. You'd expect some of that to maybe come through on the palate.
yeah, and it's not.
Really, I'm just getting quite a lot of salt, like brine, you know, that kind of saltiness. Not even just like dry salt, it's like
Brine.
like not fishy, but tuna tin, that kind of brine, that
Yeah.
flavour.
Yeah. You'd want more caramel notes, I think, to come through a bit more as well. Something to just balance it out. Well, not even just, it's quite salty.
Yeah, so if that salt was less, some of the dairy notes might shine. That's where the sweetness would come in.
Yeah.
Because you can get that right on the back, like at the end. It is coming like that. What's left is a lovely flavour. But up front, it's salt, and then you've got blue.
Yeah.
The blue flavour is nice.
Yes. The salt is maybe a bit too
Maybe
much.
get yourself down a little bit on that.
But still good. Probably 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, if someone bought that, they would not be unhappy with that.
No.
It's a great cheese, a great expression of what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
Next one's 1098.
Little vacuum kind of, or atmosphere sealed pack.
Yeah.
So this is definitely how they retail this.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a lot of these coloured blues.
Yeah. It's quite wet though in the pack, isn't it? Well, mine's really wet, actually.
Yeah. I think that's probably why it's put in that pack to retail. Because if you put it in any other medium wax paper, cellophane, it would either make it wetter
Yeah.
or get out.
Yeah, so interestingly,
nose by yours. Mine's fallen off, but right at the edge there, you see
yeah,
those? That's
yeah,
the moisture doing that, I think.
yes,
Almost like
yeah,
broken.
because mine's going orangey a bit, browny on the top, and then it's losing the outer bit because it's so wet.
Yeah, all the rind has rubbed off on my bottom corner.
Yeah. And actually, the blue on mine isn't too. I mean, I've got a line here. It's a bit uneven here.
Yeah, I've got 2 lines right there.
Yeah.
Not on that side, but it actually looks more even on that side.
Yeah. Yeah, appearance. I think it's a bit. It could. There is a lot of moisture in it, so I think I'd probably give it a 7, 7.5.
Yeah,
Because you lose the shape.
because if you were to get out on a cheese board and to look at it, and it's got that kind of like, I've got a sloppy corner, there's a lot of moisture on top. Would people gravitate to that? I'm not sure they would.
No. No, I think it's maybe
You know, we've not even tried it yet. So.
no. So 7, do you think?
Yeah, I think 7.
Yeah. Okay. Aroma. Got a slight farmy aroma actually.
Yeah, almost like hay, like fermented hay,
yeah.
with sweetness and fermented hay that are...
Yeah. And quite sweet. It just smells sweet. But it's not giving a lot of blue or...
No, well, it's not giving blue. It's not giving much ammonia. So that's a
No.
positive thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it smells quite clean, but
Very much some of the past blue cheeses.
yeah, but it doesn't smell like there's a lot going on.
Could be quite a simple blue.
Yeah, could be.
It's not that complex an aroma.
No. Should we give it a 7.5, 8 for aroma then? It's clean, but not complex.
I think we've given a lot of 8s at the other end for like quite complex. So if we give it a 7,
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So 7 for aroma.
I found last year we were gravitating a lot to 7s as like the middling, like, and it's like, now we need to be more out of the box. Like,
I know.
you don't want to be too harsh because people are going to watch this back and it's like, well, actually, they are all lovely cheeses.
They are, yeah. Yeah, we're literally having to pick them apart, aren't we, a bit?
Literally picking.
The texture's nice, it's buttery
It's
again.
really creamy, isn't it?
Very creamy. Yeah, the texture is actually really nice, isn't it? So maybe
Yeah, if you scrape all the wetness off,
yeah,
the texture is good actually. The texture is really good.
yeah.
Maybe a bit firmer than I'd have expected for a soft blue. Whereas the one previously, I know again, they're not even the same where they're from probably. But this one seems to be a bit firmer. So it's snapping a bit more like a curd structure.
Yeah.
It's like, which is like
Yeah,
blue
really
dark.
close. But it is a nice soft creamy texture. So maybe 8 for texture.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I take it to 9.
No. I think
Yeah, 8 for texture. Taste. It sort of it gives you a lot of salt and that bit of blue, and then it stops really quickly.
Yeah.
So the initial flavour's nice.
Get a bit more kind of that, that kind of sweetness to it as well. There's a little bit of sweetness there. There's a little bit of blue, which is quite a nice balance.
There's a bit of sort of that beefy brothiness as well, you get, which is nice. But then it just stops quite quickly.
Even on like the palate, it's just like it's gone.
Yeah.
It's got a clean finish.
Nothing lingering.
It might be you want to go back for more, I don't know, but
yeah, because I'm having to go back to remind myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably 8 again for flavour. It's not maybe 7.5. It's not. It just you want it to be longer. You want some of those. The brothiness is really nice.
Even if that was the dominant lingering flavour, that savoury note, humans would love that.
Yes.
But that was them lingering. That's a bit higher.
Yeah.
Knock it down because of that.
Yeah.
You have 7.5.
Yeah.
I think that sounds fair.
Yeah. So it's got loads of potential. It's just trying to get those notes to lengthen, I think, and last a bit longer. And it could do being a tiny bit less wet, just make it more attractive.
Yeah, so it's wet, not oozy. That's the problem with that cheese.
Yeah.
The next one is 1103.
Yeah, right.
Another individual cheese.
And a little one.
That's carefully wrapped again. That's quite a chunk of cheese. Right, what have we got going on here? So again, there's a bit of like that other one we saw. It was like a bit of transport and wrapping damage where you've got quite solid white one side.
Yeah, you can see the lines where it's that lovely concertina on the wrap. The way it's been folded has left that imprint there. So yeah.
But yeah, it looks quite cool.
You can't really fault the appearance of that, really. You know, it's got the even amount of white on there.
Yeah.
Rubbed up on the edge a little bit, but that's again, it's been transported in its packaging for how long?
Yeah, I've got lots of different colours going on. I've got a bit of darker moulds there.
You can see doing this a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Also maybe a slight pressing, could be pressed a little bit better if we're going to be hypercritical.
Yeah, you know, mine's the same sort of like gradient. I think they must be aiming for it. Consistent and levelness.
But yeah, whatever the word is.
Wonky.
Wonky, consistent wonkiness.
I'll be happy with it for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, looks cool. Right. Aroma? Is that okay?
What score was that for appearance? 8.
8, yeah.
Cut into it again.
So I'm just getting that normal sort of brie.
Yeah, a bit of white.
Sort of white, bloomy rind. Bit of ammonia.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's like inside to smell.
It's really hard with blue cheese. Blue cheeses will always have that ammonia.
Yeah.
More so than probably any other cheese, really.
So my blue seems to be focused more at the one end. Yours is a bit more central, actually. I'll cut into this again. See what's doing. Oh yeah, actually it's more central there.
Black burns to it in a sense. You've got that kind of where it's been pressed. You can see, we said we had a wonky cheese.
Yeah.
Here, you've got that chalkiness, and it's like almost fully broken down here.
Yes.
Where it's thinner, the rind has done more of a job than where it's not.
Yeah.
And that's very evident. You can see that difference even on the camera.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. What does that bit?
So that could throw the texture out a little bit because it's obviously now technically like a dual texture.
Yeah.
Parts that are rosy, parts that aren't.
Yeah. And
cheese maker trying to achieve, do they want it a more chalky cheese? Do they want it a fully broken down cheese?
Yeah, because it's quite chalky where it is chalky, isn't it? And then quite broken down where it's broken down. So you've got the extreme.
It cuts nicely, you know, it's cut like a nice cheese. Held its shape.
You get some nice clean lactic notes from the aroma inside as well, don't you? So aroma, what are we saying for aroma? 7.5?
Yeah, I was going to say 7, but yeah, if you're happy with 7.5, I can push it up to that. The chalky bit's quite sort of sour cream, a bit lemony. Yeah, that creme fraiche-esque.
Yeah. We try the more broken down bit.
I like that's quite a nice flavour. So having a cheese like this, that kind of lemony citrus sharpness, I've been kind of waiting for something that's got some kind of acidity.
Yes.
And this does have some acidity.
The
flavour is actually pretty good.
Flavours, you get some on that more broken down bit as well. You get those more mushroomy notes, don't you? And there's quite a lot going on. The salt level is balanced as well.
I think that salt and that kind of that ammonia, it actually works quite well together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
they rein each other in.
Yeah.
Which is allowing the cheese the flavours to be present.
It's just whether it's working coherently together, isn't it? All of those different elements. There's a lot.
Usually put two cheeses in one.
Mm. I think there's probably a bit more work to do to combine it or get those flowing a bit more through the cheese. So I'd probably give it maybe 8.5 because of that.
What
So it's
flavour?
nice, there's so much going on.
8.5 for texture of a flavour.
Flavour, I was thinking. Texture,
You might have to bring texture down a little bit because it is that dual texture and we don't know where it's meant to be.
yeah. So what, 7 for texture?
Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe go 7.5 for texture, Vicky.
Mhm.
And then are you happy with 8 for
Yeah.
flavour?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on.
So what scores have we got across the board? Is it, what did we say for the appearance?
So you've got 8 for appearance, 7.5 for aroma, 7.5 for texture, and 8 for
Cool. I'm happy with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Next one is 1108.
So 1108 has been sent to us in cling film.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe potentially the worst medium across the board to send cheese in. Yeah, you've got that kind of sweating on the rind, but I'm going to cut it, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's me.
But if you squid it, you can even hear like the moisture.
I like the rind on the outside there.
Yeah, it's nice. Very consistent.
Yeah.
Got a real kind of bready, yeasty note to it.
Yeah.
Something like
Oh,
bacon.
yeah.
It's got that.
Yeah. I do. I like the appearance of it.
Yeah, I think the rind looks smart.
Yeah.
I think we can forgive it for its wet edge being under cling film.
Yeah. Once you cut that off, it's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, once you've got the bluing's actually very even. And where's your
Yeah.
piercing? What's your piercing like on your piece?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I've got kind of nice 2 lines going through the piece of cheese. There's bluing all around it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice actually because you've got the blue, but there's also a bit of that sort of greeny, fluorescent greeny mold coming through as well, which I always think is nice. So probably appearance. What do you think? 8.5?
Yeah.
I think it's fairly good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's do aroma. Yeah, you definitely get bread, don't you?
I really like that kind of like yeast.
Yeah. Actually, you get that, and then you get the biscuit smell. But that's all you sort of get.
Ammonia.
Yeah.
You're just getting that nice yeasty bready note, like warm bread.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. But then you don't, there's nothing else there, is there?
There isn't anything else there.
But then I don't,
The blue's not too dominant on the nose.
no, no. And then you get that sweet.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes if you smell a rind that's like this, you get a real like blue smell just from that rind. You know, like even cheese too had that.
Yes. Yeah. You don't get it here.
Not
What's it?
necessarily a bad thing.
So 8 for aroma?
Yeah. Yeah, you could say 7.5 just because it's it hasn't got much aroma.
It's one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The texture seems nice. It's
Yeah,
squidgy.
it's got that real supple texture to it. Mine's obviously, you can see in the middle, it's got that kind of real kind of flaky, chalky part in the middle.
Yes.
And a bit more
Yeah.
of that kind of squidge near the rind, but in this particular style of cheese, I think it looks all right.
Let me try and taste some.
It's super melt in the mouth. That texture in the mouth is quite lovely.
It is really melt in the mouth, isn't it?
I know we've mentioned buttery already today, but that is like super, like
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, that whipped cream, the way that kind of
Mm.
your mouth coated in fat and that.
Yeah, that's quite it's quite a lovely texture, isn't it? It just disappears. The flavour, you get those brothy flavours again though. I'm not getting, I mean, you get a bit of blue. Hmm?
I'm getting like
So,
a lot of sweetness, like a
yeah,
caramel fudgy note to it.
yeah. But then I don't get a lot of some of those blue notes. So you've got the brothiness and the sweetness, but I can't.
The blue is not the most dominant flavour.
No.
Is it even cow's milk? We've not even been thinking about this today with this category. Because that sweetness would not usually come from
Cow.
cow. I like it. It could be more blue.
I think the blue could come up a tiny bit. So, like you say, it's the cow more that meaty, that sort of beefy bovril notes that you get are nice. So
Maybe
there's a
that's
lot
what
going
we bring
on.
to cheese.
Yeah. What do you think? 8.5
Or
flavour?
flavour? Yeah. Yeah. 8.5. I'm happy with 8.5.
Texture, I think probably 9. I love that melt in the
Texture is
mouth.
amazing, yeah. I think nine is fair.
Yeah. Yeah, 9 for texture.
Nice little cheese, actually.
Yeah, really nice. Cool.
For me, that was a don't read the book by its cover, because the way it was wrapped, the size of piece we had, the wetness
Yeah.
on that when we unwrapped it, I was just like, oh. But actually, very good cheese.
Lovely cheese. Yeah.
Just be a little bit more blue flavoured.
So the next cheese is 1118.
Okay. I've got a little pyramid style here.
Truncated pyramid.
So again, so I've got a bit of like where the mold's rubbed off during transit, I think just around the edges again.
The thing with the cheese this shape, you will always get that
You're
corners.
gonna get that.
Yeah.
But it feels quite solid with the cheese,
It feels
actually.
quite solid. I thought that when I grabbed it, I was expecting a bit more maybe give
Yeah.
to it.
But it's a bit, yeah, I suppose it's a bit uneven, but it looks smart.
Yeah, it's a nice little looking cheese, you know, it's a little something different to what we've had for the rest of the day.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you want to score on appearance?
You want to look inside?
Yeah, we can do.
I
Oh,
quite like to see how the blue is through it.
Oh, okay. I haven't got much blue going on,
It's
though I can see where they pierced it. But actually,
almost just grey, not blue, like it's made the paste quite grey.
yeah, that's what I've got as well. So
Unfair, I'd probably say maybe 6.5, 7.
yeah, I don't think it's probably worked as much as they'd hoped.
Because you can see from the edge there, it's been pierced 1, 2, 3 times at the bottom, and then 1, 2 at the top. So 1, 2, 3. It's been pierced that way.
Yeah.
And vertically, it's been done all directions. So you'd expect some blue.
Yeah. I can see there's a tiny bit trying to grow.
Yeah, I've got a little bit in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually if you can see the marks when you then cut it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think probably 6 is
What's
probably
happened there is that PC is quite thick, the white mould. It's
Yeah.
that that's crept into the holes. you can see those white dots. They've not gone blue,
Yeah.
they've just gone white.
White. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. I think there's probably a bit more work to do on this one then. Let's smell it.
For appearance, 6 or 6.5?
6, I think, for appearance, because it's not really doing what it should do, I don't know. The smell, you just get that white bloomy rind smell, don't you?
Yeah, white bloomy rind, a little bit of ammonia. Even now we've cut it, you're not getting a huge amount from the paste. I don't think.
No, you're not. So it's probably a 6 again, I think, for aroma.
It's very, very white. So again, it's probably could it be sheep or goat rather than cow?
Yeah, I mean, mine's gone, if I can't see it here, it's gone really grey, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It could be goat.
You think cow's milk that could have quite a soapy flavour, that grey area? But we'll try that anyway.
Let's taste it and see.
It's actually quite dry. It was doing
Really dry.
Dry. If that breakdown was a bit more oozy rather than pasty.
It's really salty as well. I think maybe because the blue hasn't worked, they can't, nothing else has sort of like worked together. I think it's just maybe gone a bit wrong.
Is it goat's milk?
I think it must be goat because of the colour.
Yeah, and it's got
that slight clagginess when goats.
That flavour though, that kind of almost like that caprylic, that flavour at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure.
And we all know that goat's food is really hard to make, so if they tried, good on them.
Yeah.
If it was goat, good on them.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are we up to? So we've done. Did we do aroma?
You do texture and flavour.
So texture, I think it's too hard and too dry. So it's going to have to be a 6, I think, again.
Yeah, definitely. Happy with that.
And then flavour, I think it's, yeah.
Could be 6.5 to be generous.
Yeah, let's give it 6.5 because there are flavours in there which are trying to push through. So I think if they get the other elements a bit better, I think it's got the potential there.
But yeah, if they age that for any longer, then you get the slip rind and you get too much breakdown under there, and you still get those same flavours.
Yeah.
Because they're quite a tall cheese that way, so that's why it's got that chalky centre as well, isn't it? It's just not that mould is not breaking down. The blue is not dominant enough to break it down inside.
To break it down, yeah. Yeah. It's struggling a bit.
And next one is 1137.
Thing is, until you open some of those cheeses, you don't know, do you? So
No idea. No.
Very hard. Oh, you put it up that way.
Super biscuity again.
Yeah.
Got quite a nice even amount of blue in through that.
Yeah.
Almost like a Roquefort style.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And the rind is really interesting as well, and even.
Yeah, I think again it's one of those foil wrapped.
Yeah.
The whole cheese. That's not really grown much of a rind. So you can see like right there, there's not actually much rind dominant.
No. Yeah. Yeah, it looks nice though, doesn't it? It looks nice and even. Yeah. So maybe an 8 for appearance.
Yeah, if not a bit more maybe, but I'll be happy with it.
You get that, yeah, you definitely get that biscuit smell again, don't you? Right. You get that really that blue note coming through as
that
well
blue,
in the
yeah,
notes.
that blue dominant aroma.
Yeah,
It's almost like that pear droppy, that kind of.
yeah, yeah. It's a nice aroma.
But that balance with the biscuity aroma,
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like the aroma of that actually. Probably in because you get those two notes quite strongly. There's still sweetness though. It's probably from the biscuit.
But yeah, that biscuit does dominate as does that blue.
Yeah.
So what are we on? What did we put for
Aroma.
aroma?
It's probably 7.5 again with those two. Would we expect it to have maybe a bit more?
Yeah, I could push up to an 8, but 7.5 is fine.
Yeah.
And the texture, do we do texture yet, or just on appearance and aroma?
Just appearance and aroma.
That's no
Oh,
man.
The way it's cut, the texture is a bit firmer.
yeah, it's definitely firmer. You can see the like the crystals in it, they sort of, don't they?
Yeah.
And actually when you eat it, you can definitely taste them.
With that kind of super umami note to it as well in terms of the palate I'm getting straight away.
Yeah.
Got a real kind of tang at the end as well, that tangy note.
You do taste the biscuit note quite strongly though as well, don't you? And then the salt comes through quite strongly at the end.
And I think with cheese like this, I think the salt is going to always be quite high, the way to get that blue to form
Like that. And with the crunchy bit
style, then it will be quite high
yeah,
salt.
yes. And with the crunchiness of the salt through it, actually, the crystals through it, that adds to that
That's texture.
texture. Yeah. I quite like it.
I think it's a good cheese.
There's a lot going on with the flavour of it.
There is a lot going on. Even by the rind's nice, so the rind and the paste, it's all a consistent flavour.
Yeah.
Any kind of fragmented flavours from different parts of the cheese.
Yeah, I don't are we on texture?
Texture and taste. Yeah.
I'd happily sit texture at 7.5 or 8.
I think texture's probably 7.5 or 8. It's maybe a bit dry.
Yeah, maybe lets itself down on the texture.
Yeah.
We're in the soft blue category.
Yes.
So it's a bit more crumbly, a bit
is
firmer.
Yeah. With all the crystals in it, and it just may be too dry, could maybe be a bit softer.
You can see it's been made like it. That's the whole cheese. It's been pierced that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely a soft blue make.
Yes. But the flavour, there's quite a lot going on, so I'd probably give it an 8.5.
Yeah, push it up to even 9 if you're happy with 8.
Yeah, 9. Let's do 9 then.
9.
Yeah, because there is a lot. You get all those flavours come through, don't you?
It's strong, it's intense, but you can still pick out the flavours. And like my palate, I've not had a bit for a minute or so, and it's still going.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, you do
It's
still
not
get
even that burn or pepper, because sometimes it can be just that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thanks, guys. Next one is 1146.
I'll do it all.
1146. Yeah. Nope. That 12 with the sticky labels. Oh, I can't get into one. There we are.
Nice looking rind on it.
Yes.
I think it has
Yeah.
got a bit of that free moisture from underneath that foil.
Yeah, it has got. Yeah,
If you get them off there, you can see there, like the rind's been kind of rubbed off. That's what yours is like at the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, mine's the same. That's where the moisture is, isn't it?
But you've got even bluing throughout.
Yeah, the bluing looks really good, doesn't it? And the colour looks nice.
Yeah.
There's no particular other colours going on.
There is no in cheese like this. You could get like greying near the rind, a lot more greying. It's completely like the cheese is the same colour throughout.
Yeah.
You've got the blue, like grey or brown parts.
So I think probably, I mean, you have got a bit of free moisture, but it's sort of,
I think the blue looks lovely.
yeah, I think the blue looks lovely.
You know, I've got a lovely hole just on the top here, which is like a little bit forward, a little hole there. It looks smart.
Yeah. So what do you think for appearance then? 9?
Yeah, I was going to say 8.5, 9. So
Yeah. I don't know what else I'd want from it.
no, you wouldn't want any more blue, I don't think.
No.
But you also wouldn't want the blue to be less uneven
No.
or more uneven. So
Yeah. Just like, it's probably just the wetness, but I don't know how you stop that with the foil.
Is it 8.5 or 9? Do you think?
go on.
9.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And aroma?
Right, aroma. Let me just cut into.
I love the texture of that as you push your knife through it and that kind of.
Yeah, it was.
You get a bit more blue off of this than we have previously.
Yeah, a lot more blue. And a lot more dairy notes as well coming through, which is nice.
A lot more kind of like lactic, that kind of sweetness almost. Not obviously you can't smell sweetness, but
Yeah. But it has definitely got that sort of sweet note to it. I think I like the aroma actually out of all of them.
yeah.
I think probably 8.5 again.
Yeah, I'd be happy with 8.5.
And then texture, I mean, when you cut into it, like you said, it feels like it's going to be soft, buttery.
It was lovely.
Yeah. Let's just see what it's like.
Got a nice kind of give to it.
Really, it's like it's got extra cream, not like a triple cream, but almost like a double cream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really creamy and really melt in the mouth as well.
The texture is great.
Yeah, the texture is really good.
I think what it lets it do for is its flavour.
Yeah.
All I'm getting is blue, and it's that blue that's just like earthy blue.
Yeah. It's one-dimensional in the flavour. I think then probably texture 9.
Texture 9 for sure.
Yeah, taste, you do get sweetness.
You do, which is that dairy note comes almost like that ice cream. That kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah, it is ice creamy.
yeah.
And the blue, but then it just feels a bit, again, it stops, doesn't it? Yeah, I'd probably say 7 or 7.5 for flavour.
We're at 7.5. So
I think I'd want it to give more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how it goes, isn't it? Because like this has been a lovely aroma,
Yes.
lovely texture, lovely appearance, and it just lets itself down a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the others haven't looked so great, but have tasted amazing. So, cheese.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Good. Next one is 1147.
Now, I'm not going to presume, but these look like they're from the same place. So it could be a different age of cheese, or could be a different milk source of cheese.
Yeah. They're wrapped in the same way, definitely.
Yep.
Oh, different colour.
Different colour of cheese.
Like not as wet, which is good.
Not as wet, yeah. Still got a little
Lovely
bit of
colour.
inconsistency on the rind at the bottom there.
Yeah,
It's just rubbed away on the corner, on the edge.
yeah, yeah. But otherwise, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And nice even blue again.
You can see the piercing in mine. Actually, you've got kind of those nice diagonal pierce lines throughout.
Yeah,
You can see them there.
yeah,
You've got a bit of a larger hole in yours. I've got some on that side of mine.
yeah, yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it looks good. I think probably say, well, what score did we give the last one for the payments? It's quite similar, isn't it? 8.5, we say?
9 last time.
9. There's probably 9 again.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice looking bit of cheese.
Mm.
Nice colour as well.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely colour. I'm just going to cut in to get the aroma.
Same give when we cut it.
Right, this is really digestive-y this time.
Oh, yeah. A bit more intensity on that nose as well.
Yeah, but you do get that nuttiness. You get that blue note.
Yeah. Maybe a slight bit more ammonia.
Yeah.
In it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not masses going on in the aroma, is there? You don't get as much of that milky sweetness coming through on this one.
Not as much as the last one. And this is us presuming that they're from the same place. They might not be. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So for aroma,
Probably 7.5, 8.
Yeah, I was going to say 7, so we can meet in the middle.
7.5. Yeah, let's go 7.5. I think you just want it to be like showing up a bit more in that aroma.
Just think that slight ammonia is overtaking a little bit of that. The biscuitiness is really there.
Yeah.
But the ammonia is also there.
Yeah.
Well, texture-wise, it cut nice, didn't it?
Yeah. It's really soft again. A bit firmer than some others we've tried.
You can feel with like the blue, like the circles where the blue is, you get left behind that piece of blue.
Yeah.
Or it kind of goes.
Yeah.
But that means the cheese is melting in the mouth, but what is left behind is rind or blue.
Or blue, yeah. I mean, it's a nice texture.
Yeah, it's a lovely texture. Again, it could be a bit more kind of soft.
Could be softer. There's a slight powderiness to it, or chalkiness.
Maybe a little bit more age. Like even a week or two on that.
Yeah. What do you think then for texture? Probably an 8, I think, for this one.
Yeah, we put 9 before, didn't we? If they are the same. But let's be more objective. Yeah, so probably 8.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I think it's just that.
The blue that's been left behind is staying in my mouth, staying in my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got that slight powderiness as well, which is
maybe that's what it is that I'm picking up. Maybe
could be, yeah.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, yeah. And when the flavour, again, the flavour sort of lets it down a bit. You do get more umami notes here. There's a brothiness to it and that sort of caramel. But then it sort of stops.
Yeah.
Doesn't really linger.
It's nicely blue though. That blue is really kind of
the blue is nice.
And there. Maybe you want a bit more dairy notes. Or kind of creaminess. Something with either the texture or the flavour.
Yeah. It's strange. You don't get much salt to start with, and then it comes through more at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. We can tell it's quite a high salt cheese the way it's making like
Yeah.
its own feel, even though you can't taste it so much.
Yes. But maybe it's the higher salt at the end that stops the other flavors coming through a bit more.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's
Um,
impacting the length of the cheese.
yeah. I mean, it's still a lovely cheese. Maybe 7.5 again.
We go 8, yeah.
8, yeah,
Yeah.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And the next one is 1148. And you've got 4 more cheeses to go.
Not been so bad, this. Sometimes blue categories can be a bit overwhelming.
Along.
A lot of blues. In my bowl.
I remember my first year at Artisan Cheese Award, and there was 45 blues on my table, and there was 3 judges. And we had 45 blues, something like that. It was a heck of a
41. Wow.
40 odd, yeah, it was something like that.
Must taking you ages as well.
It took us the whole day. It was like 4 hours of judging between 3 of us just to do a table of blues.
Wow. How do you pick between them as well with so many?
Yeah, it gets hard near the end. You're like, oh.
Mm.
It is really hard, isn't it? I think it's a little bit like.
A bit of a softer cheese, this one. Oh, Sarah's not even into it yet.
I know. Oh. They're very wide, isn't
I want to throw this out there. I'm going to say it's the same guys again.
it? Yeah.
I also
Different
think,
milk though, I think.
this is probably sheep's milk, looking at the colour of that. You've got that slight pinking there. If you can see on there, you've got that kind of slight
Oh,
pinking
yeah.
coming.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is very characteristic of milk sauce. That pinky brown rather than like a cow's milk cheese, which is brown, grey brown.
Yeah. I mean, again, the blue looks really even, doesn't it? And the rind looks really even.
The blue and the rind look lovely.
So I think that's probably a 9 again on a
And
pill.
again, yeah, let's go for it.
It looks really good. I get more of that sort of aging cellar on the rind than I have some of the others.
Yeah. That pear dropping milk kind of come back with this cheese, which we haven't had in a few cheeses.
I don't get much aroma when I cut into it though.
I'm getting that kind of that sweetness again, that kind of almost like that kind of haylage, silage, that kind of farmyardy.
It's funny, that bit hasn't got as much blue in, so it might be why. That bit's yeah, I don't know. Aroma. I'm losing my sense of smell. I've smelled too many blue cheeses. Yeah, I do get a bit more hay silage there.
Just that kind of fermented feed aroma.
Yeah. But still, it's not giving a lot in aroma, is it?
No, it's not giving that much.
So probably 8 again for aroma, 7.5.
7.5 for the aroma.
Yeah. Right, let's see what this texture's like. It's a bit more.
The rind is quite nice because you've got that little bit more of that kind of softness to it. And this is from the cut face.
Yeah.
Right there, there's like a bit more like a softness going on.
It's really melt in the mouth again. It is lovely texture.
Definitely has that sweetness there.
Yeah. You definitely get the sweetness.
I do think
And then you,
it's almost like a Roquefort style again, this.
yeah, because you've got the salt coming through. And quite the balance between the salt and the sweet is nice, actually.
Yeah, I think it's
They're
got a good
both
balance.
yeah, they're both coming through. I don't think you get many other flavors.
No, I'm just eating some bit with the rind. I don't actually think the cheese benefits from that rind flavour.
No,
But if you just get paste, it's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
You get the sweet, you get the
Interesting.
blue.
I don't know on this one for flavour.
Have we done aroma yet?
Aroma, appearance 9, aroma 7.5. You do texture and taste.
Oh, texture's 9, I think, again. It was really lovely texture. Yeah. Taste. You get the saltiness and the sweetness, and they're quite balanced, but then you don't get anything else.
Maybe 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5, I think.
Maybe to let yourself down on the flavour again on this type of cheese.
Yeah.
Texture, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I could eat chicken texture all day, right?
Yeah, cool.
You are eating all day. Yeah. Our next one is 1156.
1, 5.
Another little individual cheese.
Yeah, this looks quite interesting. Just got to get into it. Oh gosh, I wasn't expecting that kind of insult. I'm gonna have to destroy the foil to get into it. Gosh, there's a lot. This cheese already looks really healthy. There's a lot going on with it.
I've got one side with no rind.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh.
there's a bit of an inconsistency on mine with the rind development, and that is not just transport. You can see it's got the kind of the wrinkliness coming, so the geo,
Yeah.
but it's not grown any of the blue on there, or even any white almost on my one.
Oh yeah. Mine's quite
White
different.
on yours, yeah. Maybe that is maybe because it's been in the foil and it's sweated, it's rubbed it all away. I don't know.
Yeah, might have done.
There's nothing left within the foil itself, but apart from bits of cheese, but
Yeah.
suggesting.
Yeah. Bit of inconsistency. So probably then on appearance, because of the inconsistency, probably about a 7 then.
Yeah, 7. Because actually, the kind of the mold growth you have got and that wrinkles and those kind of marks and that kind of vermiculation again, those look pretty good.
Yeah, does look good. And actually, the blue inside looks quite well, a bit uneven. It's very yellow.
Yeah, super yellow.
Which I think looks nice with the contrast of the blue against it, actually. It's the aroma inside is lovely. It's got that sweetness. And a bit of that blue. I'm not getting much ammonia at all. Yours might be different though if it's
You're getting a little bit, but it's not offensive.
no.
I've got
Bit
a
of
bit
that.
of moisture in mine from where some of the holes are, so it's actually leaking a bit of like clear rather than oozy cheese.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, mine actually, I know what you mean. Just catching the light.
It's beginning to get a bit of breakdown under that rind though.
Yeah, I mean the breakdown's uneven, but it is breaking down.
You know, I've got, if you look at this part,
Yeah.
I've got breakdown here,
Yes.
chalkiness here, not as chalky there, but no breakdown, and then that breakdown up in this corner.
Breakdown up there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean mine's a bit more even. but it looks really crumbly in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so aroma.
Again, it's a big cheese. You look at the cheese as a whole cheese.
Yeah, it's big,
That's
isn't it?
big cheese for all of that mold and all those enzymes to do what they need to do throughout that whole piece of cheese.
Yeah. What do you think on aroma? I mean, it's quite,
Not an unpleasant one.
yeah. There's quite a lot going on there. It's quite frothy and sweet, and it's got quite a strong aroma, really, for a cheese. I think maybe 8 for aroma, just because there's lots going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Got everything you'd expect, but then a bit more.
Not got any off notes or anything like that.
No. Okay, so we go 8 for aroma,
Yeah.
and then texture is going to be a bit tricky, I think, because of the, let me cut the bit which is broken down as well.
I think from the look of the texture, it's a bit kind of, it's got this dual texture, it's got different things going on that maybe
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Yeah. Let's see what this bit's for.
Mouthfeel was quite good.
That rind just melts into the cheese.
Yeah, the rind is good in terms of that you're not getting any rind left behind. It's all part of the cheese.
But actually, even when the cheese is broken down, it's still got quite similar texture to when it's not, in a way. It's not.
You can see where it's going to go. Almost.
I mean, it's not, the texture's soft. It's probably a bit drier than I thought it would be for a cheese like this breaking down.
Yeah, so we've had a few other cheeses like this today, and they've had that more kind of fully broken down texture, more it's still stable.
Yeah. But then it's still soft.
Yeah.
It still melts a bit, doesn't it? I think probably 7.5 or 8 for texture.
I'll be going to more than 7.5, if not 7 myself, but I'm happy
because it's not breaking down as much.
That kind of, it's not, I'm not sure it knows where it wants to be.
Which what it wants to be, yeah, agree. Okay, well, let's do 7.5.
And that could be because on my side, because your cheese might be slightly different. On the side where there's no rind, that's the side where there's the less breakdown.
Okay. Yeah, well, they definitely need
breakdown.
Definitely needs that consistency, doesn't it? In terms of flavour, I mean, it's not overly. It's quite balanced, isn't it? You've got that brothiness, like a buttery note, a sweet.
That kind of salty brothiness, though.
Yes, yeah. So it's got quite a lot going on in terms of flavour. I don't know if it balances together.
Yeah.
Say again, Simon?
That's like metallic note again as well.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, I'm not sure that the balance is quite right. Tastes nice. But,
yeah, it is nice.
I'll go for 7 again, maybe.
Yeah.
Stick it in
that. 7.
Yeah, there's lots going on. It just probably needs to blend together a bit better.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now on to the last 2 cheeses. This one is 1160.
It's a massive piece of cheese.
Oh, it's square. Oh, wow.
I know, it's huge.
Looks like a cake.
Yeah, it just looked like it. I've got all sorts going on here. So I've got some. Oh, God. So big it's taken the board with it. So I've got some different sort of molds growing on the side and on the top.
Little kind of, you've got little like orangey spots on yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Then on some parts I've got no rind at all.
Oh,
And all you can see is pierce holes.
yeah, it's unusual, isn't it?
Not
But
got
then
a
there
consist- not
seems
got a
to be.
consistent rind.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, one side's like really clear. I can't get the shape. It must be in a rectangle
It'd be a
block.
block, yeah. It could be a square, like we've got a quarter each.
Yeah,
It's probably been in foil,
yeah.
not allowed to grow any rind at all for some part of its life, maybe. I've got a lovely amount of bluing on this side
Yes, I have.
and like not as much that side, so it's a bit uneven there. And I can feel, because it's a square, you've got a lot more give there in terms of its texture than you have there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite unusual texture, isn't it?
Because this side is rock hard.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is where you've got bits of mold growing there and there, that's not as nice, is it?
No. You'd want it to either have none
Or
or all over.
yeah.
I
So
don't
I
think
think
it can go right up there with appearance, but the even bluing looks nice.
yeah, even bloom does look nice. What do you think? 7 then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 7.
There's
Right,
some,
let's try.
yeah, that texture there compared to that texture there. Something's happened in that kind of process, the turning, that's not worked.
Yeah. Right, I might just cut into it and see if I can get in there. But it's soft to cut into.
Very soft to cut into. So the blue's done its job.
Yeah.
That huge amount of bluing has started to break the fat down.
Yeah. It's just a really unusual cheese texture.
It'd be Gorgonzola-esque, I think. Like if you think of the kind of texture, but then the holes are like Roquefort.
Yeah.
So you haven't got those really squiggly, kind of really thick lines in the Gorgonzola. You've got that more open texture of like a Roquefort style, like that.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Because the gas in the cheese has been doing its thing, making the holes, but with a soft cheese.
So in terms of the aroma then, you get there's some frothy notes on it. I don't think you get.
I'm getting a little bit, but I'm not getting a huge amount of much, to be fair.
No, I'm not. I might go in straight to taste it. See what the texture's like. I mean, it's a really soft texture. I mean, there's some give in it, isn't there?
It's not giving it. The texture when we cut through, really soft.
Mm.
On the palate, it's actually quite creamy and really quite lusciously rich. You know, it's got that really.
Yeah, it's really rich.
I'm struggling with the flavour.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the
I
flavour.
don't think it's off notes, but there's something there that's quite, you know, it's not it's not balancing that creamy flavour and that blue.
It's quite mineral, isn't it? There's like a
Yeah.
mineral. I think in terms of aroma, we weren't getting much off the aroma, were we? So I think that's probably.
You get more aroma from if you smell the mold on the rind than you do actually. Within
Yeah,
the-
you do. But then the mold just smells like it would, you know, aging.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't come through to the flavour of the cheese. So I think probably aroma 6.5.
Yeah.
I think the texture is soft, it's unusual.
Yeah.
It is nice, so probably an 8.
I've got these two different types of texture in my legs. I've got that hard bit and the soft bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true. You have got the inconsistency.
I
Maybe
was going to say 7.
7. Yeah. taste, it just feels a bit. It is those mineral notes you get. Mm. I mean, you get the blue come through.
You do get the blue. There's just something right at the back. It might be a pepperiness, I don't know, but there's something there that's. If it, that
I think
wasn't
it's more. I think it's more like an aluminium taste. You know, you get like a metal
it wasn't
taste.
that foil. Has that foil impacted the cheese during transit?
Yeah.
Was that just tin foil? Or was it specially, the cheese foil? I don't know.
There's definitely a metallic taste you get on the end.
I could go as low as probably 6.5 flavour.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's really interesting what the cheesemaker's trying to do.
Yes.
But I think it's just that there's that flavour coming through at the end. It's just, and you get the blue and you get a bit sort, you don't get much else.
It's just that uneven bluing as well. It's just a bit kind of inconsistent where the flavours might be coming from actually within the cheese itself.
Mm.
If you were to try the really blue end, that would be really nice and blue. And you try near the rind, and that's got those other flavours. And you try, it's all going to be different flavours from different parts of the cheese.
Interesting.
Okay. 6 or 6.5. 6 or 6.5.
For flavour.
Yeah.
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And then the last cheese, which is
Last one.
209.
Okay, put this one on. This one. It might be squashed in. They wrap their cheese as well, don't they? Get them somewhere. Yeah. Mine's quite wet, I have to say.
Yeah. It's a strange one because the paste is wet again, but the rind is actually not too wet. But if you smell the rind, you're getting these kind of like the ammonia kind of real wash rind funk to them.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
It
real.
looks like it's got that similar rind, like Taleggio, that style of cheese.
Yes, yeah.
I know Gorgonzola to some extent has that pinky rind, but that seems a bit
Yeah,
more
it does.
developed than that.
Yeah, and it has got a bit of a pinky hue, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think mine's just been damaged a bit there's a bit of stuff there. I think it's just damaged a bit in transit. But it is very wet. I think probably appearance is probably a 7.
Yeah, it's got even blue in, the blue is throughout.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of maybe darkening there by the rind.
Yeah, I have got some dark.
Medium, it might be its transport. Yeah, 7's fair. I think 7's good.
Yeah, I'm going to cut off this face to actually see what I've got. It just looks a bit.
A nice soft texture.
Yeah, really soft texture. I've just got I don't know if it's the cheese actually. There's just a lot of this bit around here just is harder and a bit pinker.
You've got a bit more browning going on in your piece.
Yeah, I have. Even when I cut, I was hoping it would go a bit when I cut into it, but
I mean like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was from the wrapping, or it's been a cut piece for however long. It's
Yeah.
dried, it's got a bit brown, but now it does
dried.
follow through into the middle.
Yeah, I'll go into the middle. There we are. But yeah, it feels really soft, the texture, doesn't it? Let me smell it. Yeah, you get those really brothy, yeasty notes, like it is a washed rind, don't you? In the
Kind of like farmyardy.
yeah. which is nice actually. It does promise something different.
Yeah, it's different to what the rest of the cheeses we've had on the selection today.
Yeah. Let's taste it.
Got a really meaty kind of flavour to it.
Meaty, but there's a slight vinegar note to it as well.
Yeah.
The blue is a bit firmer, so again, you feel the texture of the blue. But the cheese
I'm
itself
getting
is
blue, but I'm not getting too much blue. It's that rind flavour that is dominating that whole palette.
yeah. Yeah, it's very yeasty and brothy, isn't it? You need the blue. You do need the blue to come through to balance it a bit. Yeah. Interesting cheese though.
Very interesting.
I think that what haven't we done? So we need to do aroma, don't we?
Yeah, aroma, texture, and taste.
So aroma, you do get the brothy in the wash and stuff. So 7, because you want it to, if it's blue category, you want some blue to smell through, don't you?
Yeah.
So let's go
I don't
7.
think it's actually washed, but I think it's got that kind of aroma from maybe a damper rind or something like that. So
Yes.
7.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go 7 on aroma, and then texture. I like the softness of the
Yeah, the
cheese.
texture is good, but the texture in the mouth, without even thinking about the flavour and aroma, is actually very
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, it is.
There's a bit more kind of dominant parts from the blue.
Yeah.
Which, we've had a lot like that, but the creaminess is good. So maybe
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
That takes higher factors, a 7.5 for the texture.
Yeah. And then the flavour for me isn't quite balanced. I just want more blue coming through.
Yeah.
So probably 7.
I like that rind flavour.
Yeah.
I also wish there was a bit more of the blue and a bit more
Yes.
dairy from the creamy texture. So you put this texture in that is creamy, and you expect creamier flavours, and all you're getting is that kind of intensity from the rind.
Yes.
It's nice, but you want more balance. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more balanced. So yeah, let's do 7.
Again.
Yeah.
Pretty much 7 across the board, isn't it?
Cool.
That's all the cheeses done, judged. So the winning cheese with the highest score is C21058. And then coming in at second is 1084. And there's 3 at third, and that is 1002, 1108, and 1146, all got the same points. So they are joint third. And that's fine. So yeah, so thank you guys for that judging, for that mega soft blue cheese judging of all those cheeses, amazing. So just a quick note, so yeah, thank you to Butlers for our aprons and sponsoring us and supporting us, and for Miller's crackers as well this year being our cracker sponsor, which are amazing, really delicious, especially the buttermilk ones. So just saying the winners from this class judging will go into our category final, which will be on the 10th of June, which will be live on our Facebook, YouTube, and on our website. And then the winners of that category then go into our final supreme judging. I think Sarah is judging for us for being final on the 11th of June, which will be amazing and exciting. So please do come along and watch that. But yeah, thank you very much for your time and your palette and your expertise, guys. And yeah, look forward to seeing everyone at the finals.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.